ask you the comment that I asked to Senator Isaacson, or the question I asked to him a little bit earlier, and that is back when I was working with lower income Americans, many of them when they bought a home didn't get much significant help from the home mortgage interest deduction because their salaries were low and they were buying very low-end starter houses, and so the amount of interest didn't necessarily exceed the standard deduction. I believe that home mortgage interest deduction program is now costs about $100 billion a year, somewhere around that. Is there an argument to be made for an ongoing tax credit for first-time homeowners in order to recognize and assist the lower-income Americans who are becoming homeowners in a significant fashion?
In fact, as a candidate, Senator Obama talked about the need to ensure that the mortgage interest deduction was available to lower-income families, that it was because of the deductions available to the standard deduction available to many low-income families, that they weren't benefiting in the same way. So I do think that it would be valuable to look at the mortgage interest deduction and make sure that it benefits a broad spectrum of Americans, obviously recognizing the cost and looking at how broadly that might be expanded. But I do think, as Senator advocated during the campaign, that would be a important thing to look at.
Well, I certainly would applaud your department to look at that, and I recall a study that looked at home ownership for low-income families that concluded it had perhaps the most powerful externalities of virtually anything that we have in government policy. Children were stabilized, did far better in school. Families were stabilized. They got involved in their communities in more significant ways because they felt like they had a stake in the community. And there were just many features. The likelihood of the family being involved in crime dropped, the tax contributions increased. It just at measure after measure, home ownership for low-income families had a very positive impact. And I preface this all on the basis of when responsible loans were utilized, not kind of phony financing that really meant that home ownership wasn't a stabilizing factor, and by that then I'm going back to the exploding interest loans, the subprime loans, the triple option loans, and so forth were not so helpful. But certainly, do you anticipate that the administration might come forward in the middle of this debate with a specific proposal on how to strengthen home ownership for lower income Americans, and kind of following on with the theme that President Obama struck during his campaign?
Well, first of all, Senator, let me just say that I appreciate your raising that point. As I said earlier, I think one of the misperceptions that I want to make sure is clarified out of the crisis that we've seen is that home ownership is a valuable goal, and that it is a valuable goal for Americans aspiring to be in the middle class, not just for those already in the middle class. So I think it's very important that we not lose focus of that. And I've seen very personally, as you I'm sure did with Habitat for Humanity, that lower income Americans can be not only successful as homeowners, but it can be a critical part of building wealth for them as they move up the economic ladder. So I think that's a very important lesson. I also believe that that's one of the reasons, not only about taking future action, whether it's the HFA policies that we announced yesterday, whether it's the continuing importance that FHA plays in the market, that there's a set of things we've done to make sure that home ownership remains available for lower income Americans with exactly the kind of responsible products that we've talked about. Beyond that, I do think that there are a set of things that we can do. Importantly, I think the kind of assistance that we're providing through Making Home Affordable, but also through programs like the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, where we're ensuring that, particularly in low-income communities that have been hit hard by foreclosures, that if we can begin to use some of those what are vacant and now abandoned homes as an asset to open up home ownership to lower income Americans, that can be an important role. In fact, Habitat for Humanity has been very interested and has begun using those neighborhood stabilization funds to not only build new construction, but in fact to renovate homes and make them available to lower income Americans. So I think there are a set of things that we could do, and I would look forward to talking to you more about some of the details of those.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.